I am so excited about this. P.Dina, hello. It is our first ever AMA. Ask Me Anything. Had a huge demand from the outspoken audience because I am...
Just when you thought the royal drama had cooled off, boom, a new bombshell drops. P.Dina, Meghan Markle's outspoken half-sister, is demanding proof of birth for Archie and Lilibet, but that's just the beginning. There are whispers of regret within the royal family.
Off this week. I am on the Mark Stein cruise, so I wanted to do something special where I could really tap into your knowledge and your opinions as well about everything that's going on. But I'm not going to ask the questions today. Our amazing audience is, so let me get straight to it, P.Dina. First up, from Ava D2024, who says, "Hello, Dan. Thank you for the opportunity. Just one question. For how long can His Majesty take his subjects for granted and expect them to forgive and love his darling boy like he does? It doesn't even matter what Harry and Meghan do now. The world is waiting to see what the king does now. Can we keep hope alive, or should we get used to seeing the two go without repercussions?" Good question to kick off, P.Dina. What do you reckon?
I think that there are going to be no coming together while the king is ill, because Harry is, I think, being shut out by those that are surrounding the king for his health. And, he has to be, like no stress. Things have to be pretty chill for him to help him with his, things he's dealing with. And I think it's not going to be until the last minute where things are going to become very dire that Harry will end up speaking with his father, because we've seen that in the past, even with the passing of the late Queen, Harry did not get to come on board to say his last goodbyes until it was at the very end. And I think we'll see a repeat of that. Because things are so stressful with the family and what Harry has done, that they can't possibly bring him in right now to have any kind of relationship with his father, because, it's just too much. And we've seen it happen before, and it will happen again, I believe.
Very good first question. Okay, next up from Karte333. "Hi, Dan. I would like to know what you both think will be Harry's fate since stepping down from his African charity." P.Dina, from my point of view, I'd just say the grift goes on, right? The grift is going to go on, and charity is now his latest grift. So he will try and connect to another charity. Do I think it's going to work? No. Because we've now seen from what went on behind the scenes at Centre Bali that no one, or very few people, I should say, want to put good money into anything involving the Sussexes now. And I totally understand why. What do you reckon?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that as well. And also the Invictus, I think there have been some rumblings behind the scenes around his Invictus work. And there's going to be, I think, at some point, some kind of allegation, maybe similar to Bali, that could be happening with Invictus, because we know Meghan has now come and put her paws in the Invictus Games work, and they're not happy about it, the people that are working with Invictus. So Harry is definitely going to maybe try to find another work that he can attach himself to. That's what he knows. He doesn't really know anything else. He's tried other things that have failed. He has no interest in anything else. This is what he knows. And so now that he's no longer going to be working with Bali, I think he's going to try another charity, and perhaps maybe have some kind of problems with Invictus later as well. I see it happening.
And serious allegations surrounding charity finances. Is Meghan's house of cards beginning to fall? Let's break down all the jaw-dropping details. P.Dina, yes, Samantha Markle's nickname in royal gossip circles, is back with another explosive claim.
Yeah, I do too. And it is interesting. There was a lot of unease about Invictus this year, a lot of fury about the way that Meghan Markle completely overtook the coverage of the event, and we saw that she was even sent home. But the fact is, why did Harry allow her to come in the first place? It's nuts. It's meant to be his thing. She didn't add anything to it. Now, Liz Holmes asks, The Archewell charity needs to be investigated regarding money laundering and political donations. How can this be initiated? Well, P.Dina, we have to be very careful, of course, because I imagine they have been quite careful in terms of the filing of these accounts. Remember, we did learn that they only spend an hour a week on charity work, which does give you some type of idea about exactly how much they care, exactly how much of a priority Archewell is. But obviously, the donation to Joe Biden's daughter is being investigated.
Yes, and there were also talks about U.S. aid and money given to, I
Mm,
think, somewhere around $50 million as well. In terms of her question, how this can be initiated, I think it comes down to because it's a federal agency here in the state, so it would come down from the Attorney General's office at the federal level, and they would have to put in an inquiry around it. I think it's a concern. I mean, we're talking about a lot of money here. We have a new administration as well, so I think it's probably happening. We just don't hear about it, but except for the one with the Biden um
Ashley
daughter.
Biden, yeah. I do
Yeah, so
think,
yeah.
though, P. Dina, we always have to stress that Trump, who cannot stand Harry and Meghan, is very careful in terms of what he does with Archewell and Harry's pursuits because he doesn't want to cause difficulties for Prince William. He certainly doesn't want to cause difficulties for King Charles, who is battling this very, very difficult form of cancer. And that's the overriding feeling from him. Now, it doesn't mean that he's not going to allow his teams to do proper due diligence. And obviously, he has been clear that Harry and Meghan have to do the right thing. They shouldn't deserve any special treatment. But this idea that there's going to be a real look into what they're doing, I would be surprised. And it is nothing to do with Prince Harry and Meghan. Trump can't stand him, but it is everything to do with his overall respect for the British royal family.
I think that's the only saving grace Harry really has,
Yes,
right? It's like your connection to your family is the only thing that's saving you.
the
Um,
irony.
yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of gives him the insight into, well, you better leave your family alone because right now they're kind of saving you from more troubles that could, fall on you. But I think Harry will. I think because I know there were talks about if he were to, slag off the family again or talk badly about the family again, that the titles could be stripped. I know that's something that they were talking about. So I think Harry is really trying to be a lot more careful now because his reality has become a little bit raw to what could happen to him. And so I think he's going to be a lot more careful than he was when he first came here. He's about around talking about his family. So that's the only thing that's really saving him is his connection to his family.
In a fiery online rant, she questioned the legitimacy of Meghan's children's birth records, her claim that no one has actually seen the official documentation.
Richard Gibbs 1758 asks, did members of the royal family doubt Meghan's integrity and motives immediately, as some of the population obviously did? Well, I think I can kick off on this one, Rich, because I was doing a lot of reporting about this at the time. Of course they did. Yes, they were very, very concerned. They knew what Meghan Markle was all about. That's not to say, though, that they went out of their way to make things difficult. It was actually the opposite. They were so determined to make this work. It wasn't a situation like Princess Margaret and Townsend. It was nothing like that. They wanted to make it work. The late Queen in particular wanted to make it work. But did they have concerns? Of course they did. They knew she was difficult. They knew she treated staff badly, and they just wanted they just wanted Harry to slow down.
Hmm.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
He was love drunk.
Yeah, they wanted him to be happy, but at the same time, they had their concerns. And I think you're in a very difficult situation when you want to make your loved one happy, but the thing that makes your loved one happy is this person that you're looking at with the side eye. So you have to kind of balance the two. And I think this is why so many more exceptions were given to Meghan that were given to Catherine, because they were trying to meet that balance to give her a lot more, you know, I guess things that they didn't give Catherine, like allowing Doria to come around for the holidays and before they were even married, Harry and Meghan were married. So, yeah, it was very, I mean, we have to think about how difficult that was for the royal family at the time. You know, they knew exactly where Meghan was coming from, but they had to be very careful because Harry was so, like you said, Dan, love drunk over this woman. So, I mean, we can't forget about how difficult for the royal family it was as well, because you have to give them credit for that. They allowed this to go forward. They wanted Harry to be happy, but, you know, it became for the royal family at the end of the day, it was a detriment to them that they allowed it, because look at what Meghan did to the family then afterwards, later. She turned on the family. So you can only imagine how upset they were about all of this after trying to help her and Harry.
Totally. So, yes, Richard, they did doubt Meghan's integrity and motives immediately. But of course, in the modern world, they weren't going to tell Prince Harry who he could marry. They wanted to make it work. Okay, from at CVS Kunkel, is the Markle family concerned of what Meghan might claim after Thomas Markle Sr. passes? Have they talked about taking some precautions? Perhaps recorded a video of him, etc. I really hope so, because I fear she is going to be very nasty once he cannot fend for himself. And oh my goodness, CFC Kunkel, CFS Kunkel, actually, that's such a good point. And I think it might be something, P.Dina, that I discuss with Samantha, actually, Samantha Markle, because I'd never considered this myself. But absolutely, the problem is, once Thomas isn't around, then obviously he isn't able to counter so many of the lies that Meghan's been putting out.
These wild demands for proof are fueling conspiracy theories, and while they sound outrageous, the buzz is real and growing. Sources close to the palace suggest a creeping sense of regret among senior royals, not just about Harry and Meghan leaving, but about how it all unfolded.
Yeah, you know, I hope what I heard before is really moving forward. I remember Tom Jr. talking about a
Too.
documentary. I think they're putting together their voice. Um, I believe they're preparing for things as we speak. At least I hope they are. And I know it was talked about before. And I think that's the best thing that they can do, is to really be documenting things and getting your narrative in line, because we know when that day comes, Meghan is going to start lying and doing things, and they need to counter anything that Meghan does, because she doesn't come forth with goodwill. She's as bad as they come, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure they're ready for that.
CJE3247. Oh, I love this one. Okay, if you had the option, P.Dina, to interview Meghan Markle, what would be the 3 things that you would like to ask?
Oh my goodness! I was
That
first
is a
thing, like,
good question, CJE.
I I would think, girl, what are you thinking? What is going on with you? I mean, like, for real, Megan, come on now. No, I would tell her, or ask her, why have you done this to your family? Why do you think trying to show your family out and to dismiss your family as nothing was a good idea? Like, really, that, to me, I can understand that when she's documented how wonderful her father was in the beginning and didn't say anything about her siblings negatively. So that would be the first thing I would ask her. I think I would also ask her about um, moving forward with her life. I think you need to try to show some humility and try to be a good person and ask her what she has learned, because I think when you try to ask people when they see mistakes that have happened in their lives, okay, we all have mistakes. We all make mistakes. But what did you learn from it? I would ask her, what have you learned from going on Oprah? What did you learn from leaving the royal family? You know, I would ask her a lot of things about what she has learned, because in the beginning of my channel, it was always about trying to garner some kind of do better from Meghan, because she was making so many mistakes in the beginning, and they just kept getting bigger and bigger, the mistakes. And lastly, I would ask her, girl, did you give birth to those children? Did you really birth
Yes.
those children?
Yeah.
That's what I
Show
would
me the
ask
birth
her.
certificate, okay?
Yeah, show us the birth certificate.
Yeah, I would also love to dig down. I love all of those, by the way. I would also really love to dig down much more into the lies surrounding why things turned so negative, specifically with William and Catherine, because
Mm.
the narrative that Harry and Meghan have put out just isn't true. So I would really want to dig down into that and on quite a specific level. Like, you say William and Catherine didn't welcome you into the family. Actually, were they not more concerned about the way that you were treating their staff? And why did you take so badly to the fact that the Princess of Wales, Catherine, called you out for that? I really would love to go into that, plus a whole load of the lies surrounding Megxit. You never had any intention of staying in Canada. Come on, just admit it. And specifically as well, Meghan's terrible behavior before the wedding, especially in regards to Tiara Gate. Okay, great question. On to MJ Hooper, 1975 now, who asks, P.Dina, did you notice that Meghan Markle was wearing her engagement and wedding rings on her right hand during the clip with Gwyneth Paltrow?
Some insiders say Prince William is frustrated that private family matters keep going public and Charles feels played by the Sussex media machine. Are we seeing the cracks in a family once known for keeping everything under wraps?
Oh, actually, I think, yeah, I did see a comment about that. I didn't think much of it, but I think that is definitely a clue. I think it's a sign because Megan does things very intentionally, right? I think she will do something like that just to show, well, I'm fighting with him or we're really not together. She would definitely do that for a reason. And I think that has been a clue to all of us seeing that for sure.
Yeah, indeed. She is very strategic. I'll just get up uh, the picture of that P Diner just so you can look at
Hmm.
it here.
Yeah.
But what do you make? What do you make of the whole? Actually, that is while I get the picture up. Kim Dagnall A344 says, "What is your take on the Meghan and Gwyneth storyline? Fake or surrounding
Okay.
herself with powerful wives from bookshop owners and the wife of the Netflix head?"
So that's Megan's strategy. She wants to sell to this level of people, of women. And I think she's going to try to get in these circles of friendship. This is where she wants to be. And I think Gwyneth coming into Megan's circle so publicly like this was a mistake for Gwyneth, number one. But I think Megan is giddy, is excited. This is like, oh my gosh, I'm with the A-listers. This is where she wants to be. But her attitude, who she is as a person, will reveal itself in such a way that is like so disdaining to these women. They will not be in her circle for long. Megan always ends up showing people who she really is. They can see through it and they don't want nothing to do with her. But it's just a matter of time, I believe, till she's off to another circle of A-listers or high-level women. And then before you know it, the word's going to get out and people are going to go against her once they really truly get to know who she is, because that's what we have seen. It's a pattern. We've seen it happen in the past. So it will happen with these new circles for sure.
Her girl squad, right, P Diner? Her girl squad. Oh, so cringe.
God.
And it's like the girl squad that no one wants to be a part of, actually, these days, because any A-listers who get close do anything to try and actually convince the public, oh, I'm not really part of it. Oh, no, I don't really want to be on her Instagram story. It's weird.
Yeah. I think it's weird because, um, you know, Megan has shown up into a space in California where a lot of people are just curious. They don't know much. They haven't really looked. They're not really interested. But then she comes into their circle and she starts to show herself as this really nice, kind person just so she can penetrate these friendships. But then she'll become so relaxed in the way she portrays herself around these women that she'll have these slip ups and they'll start to really see her for who she is. And then they'll start to get backlash. Because imagine this, Dan. Imagine all the backlash that Gwyneth has now gotten since going on camera with Meghan. She's gotten a lot of pushback, and I think her eyes have been opened just a little bit wider to who this woman is, having done that. And then Gwyneth will now go talk to people about what happened to her. And we also have to remember that the PR publicists have been saying, I remember talking about this on my channel, don't go head to head with Meghan on camera for anything. Like, you can be her friend, but don't show yourself in her circle. And I think this is why we don't see her getting invited to a lot of things that she should be invited to. If she were really in these circles, like in a very legitimate, authentic way, we would have seen her at so many more events, especially around Oprah and Gayle and with Tyler Perry. Like, there are things that we don't see her a part of that reveals that people are trying to minimize their connection to this woman, because there is talk going on behind the scenes, okay, with people in Hollywood and in these circles. They know she comes with a lot of toxicity, and they have to minimize their connection to her purposefully. This has been said to them by their PR people. I've talked about it, and it has been documented that that is the case.
From family feuds to royal regrets and financial scrutiny, the pressure on Meghan Markle is mounting. Whether these claims hold water or fall apart under legal light, one thing is clear: the royal drama isn't over, not even close. Subscribe for more unfiltered updates, like this video to spread the truth, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Should Meghan respond publicly, or is silence the best revenge? Thanks for watching. And remember, in the world of royalty, truth is stranger than fiction.